Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to get the show started in just about another 3 minutes and get things going. A reminder that, as always, this is a free show. Do not feel obligated to tip, but if you'd like to help support Don, there are links going into all of the chats in just a moment. Thank you for your patience. We will see you shortly.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome. Hi everybody. Look at everyone here tonight. Oh man, nice to see you. Thanks to everybody coming from watching on YouTube over there and on Facebook over there. If you guys could help share this around the Facebook world, that would be great. The more the merrier. Let's take a look at who's here. It's so nice to see everybody. People from all over the country. Hello, MP. Mark Stepikoff, welcome. Nice to see you. Jason from the Upper Peninsula. Oh my God, welcome. Oh my, everybody's here. I'm gonna have to do a good job tonight. There's a lot of people, a lot of people here that know me. They've seen me when I'm good and when I'm not. All right, so those of you that are new, to, anybody that's new over here in the Zoom part, we're gonna allow you to unmute yourself if you're in a quiet place. So if you're quiet, go, like if the phone's not going to ring, stuff like that, go ahead and unmute yourself so that you can yell at me in between songs and I can hear some applause. And don't be concerned if it gets noisy. Brandon, our technician, will mute you and like that. But we like to get as many people unmuted as we can. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not quite enough. Let's get a few more if we can. There you go. That's good. All right, so the way we're going to test this now is I'm going to count to 3, and all of you that are unmuted, I want you to laugh like I said something funny, all right? 1, 2, 3, go ahead, laugh. It's so weird. All right, it's good. And I see my friend Roz Cummins is here. Roz, I am so happy to see you. So thank you so much for being here. Roz had the unenviable job of being a booking agent for me at one point, way back in the day, when that was an exercise in frustration. Dawn, who they would say when she called them. But she's a dear friend, and I'm glad she's here. You know, Roz, if there's something you'd like to hear or anybody, throw it in the chat, and I'll try to get to it for you. So it's 1 year ago. I did my last concert this week, was the 15th. It was in Kansas, which I'm expecting my friend Alan D. Bay to come here later, and I did it at his place. So I was in Nebraska and in Kansas, because I have a thing for the rectangular states. I like rectangular states. I don't know what it is. I just think they're cool. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I know a wife and a husband. They had a shiny little kid. When that kid turned 16, you won't believe what he did. He smoked a lot of marijuana. He snorted cocaine too. Told his parents he was gonna drop out of school. The father pounded on the table. The mother hollered and she screamed. They ran him down to the doctor. Doctor, what does this mean? He put them all on Prozac, right then and right there. He said, you'll still have your problems, but now you just won't care. And he prescribed a little therapy, some supplementary drugs. But he didn't write a script down for a little more love, just a little more love. What the heck could it hurt? It might not fix nothing, at least it won't make things worse. When you're looking at your lifetime from the end when you are done, you know it might look a little better, see a little more love. I know a wife and a husband, and they had a shiny little kid. When that kid turned 16, you won't believe what she did. She said, Mom, I'm sleeping over at Susan's. That was just a big fat lie. What she really was doing was staying out all night. And when her parents found out, they cried boo-hoo-hoo. And then they called the radio talk show. They asked him, what should we do? He said, send her off to boot camp. That was his advice. It was good for his ratings, but it wasn't very nice. Just a little more love. What the heck could it hurt? It might not fix nothing, at least it won't make things worse. You're looking at your lifetime from the end when you are done, you know it might look a little better, see a little more love. I can see that you're a tough guy, you won't be pushed around, you are not going to take it, you're good at putting your foot down. You might get killed by lightning, you might get hit by a truck, but if you are not that lucky, you might just wind up spending years in a rest home without a whole lot to do. But look back on what you did with the time God gave you. Just a little more love. What the heck could it hurt? It might not fix nothing, at least it won't make things worse. When you're looking at your lifetime from the end when you are done, you know it might look a little better. Big rough tough, gotta see a little more love. It might look a little better, see a little more love. And the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild. It's a wild crowd tonight. So I'm scanning the list of people that I can see here. I mean, those of you that are watching on other platforms, you're welcome to come over here. Brandon will put the Zoom information in your chats over there. You're welcome to come over here and yap at me in between songs and stuff. But I see that we have at least 3 or 4 educators here. The Hansons from Nebraska, they're both educators. And Ross Cummins is a writer, and MP Carver is a writer. And so I feel your pain with that song because of the gigantic double negative that's in it. I can see you wincing, all of you people out there. There's little winces in my in my squares, and my holograms are wincing. But I have to tell you that I am a believer in double negatives. I love them. I think you should embrace your double negatives. Like there's things that cannot be said without using the double negative. And my best example is Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. I cannot acquire any satisfaction. That is not going to work, is it? Come on now. It just doesn't have the same punch. I can't get no. That's how you do it. All right, here we go. I went to California when I was young. This one has no double negatives in it, but I'm sure the writers will find some. But there's something in it that probably will get a red mark put on my paper. Went to California when I was young. Stood beside the highway, waved my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. People in Michigan say hello to people on the street that they don't even know. And drivers in Boston make a left-hand turn without turning their signal on. In 1993, if you were talking to yourself walking down the street, it was sad, because it meant that you were crazy. Now it means that you're a businessman. It's not crazy, but still kind of sad. Well, I went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, waved my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. You know, my boss is younger than my children are. I've got to tell you people, that's so bizarre. He's so adorable when he yells at me. It makes me want to pinch him on his cheek and say coochie coochie coo coochie. I went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, waved my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. You know, a lot of good musicians used to say to me, you can't play guitar, you can't sing, so you could never make it in this here scene. And I don't think that they were wrong. But I wonder where they all have gone. I went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, I waved my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. People in Michigan say hello to people on the street that they don't even know. Drivers in Boston make a left-hand turn without turning their signal on. They're not thinking about you at all. They just keep on rolling, keep on rolling, they keep on rolling along. Yeah. All right.
Hey, Doug. All right.
Yo, Sarah, I can hear you. Oh, there
Hey.
you are. Look at you.
Hey, my
Nice.
friend.
Oh man, so good to see you. I can't wait till I can be in the same room with you all.
Coming soon.
Someday soon.
Yes,
Hey, you know,
bring it on.
bring it on.
Yeah, we're
All right.
waiting.
First trip, California, right, Sarah?
That's right. That's right. Hotel Campstrom is open, Don.
Sarah lives not too far from Yosemite, so I'm always tempted to go visit her out there. So it's been a long year, hasn't it? My God. My daughter looked at me the other day, and she was here. I see my daughter. She's kind of isolated. My daughter and her husband and their son. Those are my humans that I have contact with my wife. Five people in our little bubble here, and so I came downstairs. My hair was a mess. I was in like COVID zone, right? Like, hair was out sideways. We had sweatpants on, and she looked at me like, this is what's gonna happen out in the real world a lot now. Like, she looked at me like top to bottom like this, and she went, "No Zoom calls today." No Zoom meetings today, Dad? I'm like, no. All right. Does anybody want to hear anything? I'm pretty feeling this. I have to tell you, this may be the last one that I'm doing from my house. I'm moving. I'm eventually going to move out of Lynn, I believe, but right now I'm moving to another place in Lynn and putting this house up for sale. So this may be the last show with the gigantic coronavirus right over my shoulder here.
You can always bring that with you, Don.
I'm getting kind of sick of it. At first I thought it was funny. Now it's a little intimidating, to be honest with you. Keep your friends near and your enemies nearer. But we're gonna. I'm not sure. Maybe do one more from here. But I've already got my internet set up in the other place, and things are happening. Here, this one is a way back machine one. I'm looking at Roz and thinking about some of these people that have known me. They knew me before I got it was any good, really. Had the pleasure of knowing me when it was justifiable to hang the phone up on my agent. All the days of her youth were spent in housing subsidized by the government. By the time that her neighbors were 12 years old, they knew how to steal automobiles and play that rock and roll. Shoo-up, shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-up, shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. Shoo-up, shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-up, shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. I was raised on the other side with white picket fences and a brand new bike. When the sun was hot and the days were long, my dad turned on the sprinkler to save the lawn. But now I'm grown and I work all day. When I come home, I moan, I groan and complain. But my project girl puts me in my place. Calls me a middle-class spoiled brat right to my face. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. Now by the time that she married me, she was already adept at austerity, and she can keep us going on my piddly pay. She can cook a potato 119 ways. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally. I love my project girl. Project girl. I love my project girl. If my young daughter hates what we eat, she is liable to pick it up and throw it at me. Well, the projects have never been her home, but her mother gave her project chromosome. So it don't matter where she may live, she will always be a second generation project kid. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally-wally oo-doo-wah-doo-wah. Shoo-wally-wally project girl. Shoo-wally, I love my project girl. Classy women in their fancy clothes. They're very impressive, I suppose, but I wouldn't trade my project girl for every Maserati mama in this whole wide world.
All right, Don. Sounds great.
T-Tracks.
I love that song.
T-Tracks tonight. That's right, we're going deep into the record collection here tonight. I first recorded that song on a cassette. Right? Those of you that think you have all my recordings, I've been cleaning this house out. I'm going to do like put some of these things up and see if there's any demand for them. I have actually 3 albums that never made it to CD. I made like a 500 cassettes of each one of them, and then my family bought them and I sold them in my post-it shows. And I found a couple of them still around here. The first one was called Kid Stuff. It had a picture of my son playing the fly swatter like it was a guitar on the front. It was mimeographed or photocopied, right? The album cover, the CD, the cassette cover, and not one song from that has made it into my repertoire after that. That is a rare bird, that one, Kid Stuff. And then There was another one called Heavens to Murgatroyd. Had a picture of Snagglepuss on the front of it. That's right. This is where I came from. These are my roots, people. And then just before I made my first CD, so I guess it would have been the late 80s, I put on another cassette called I'm from Lynn, What Can I Say? And for that one, I brought my friend down to GE Field here in Lynn, and we graffitied a wall, and I with a bunch of it had, you know, and it said I'm from Lynn. So we actually vandalized someplace in Lynn and took a photograph there of that. So those are three cassettes that were actually, it's probably in my interest for them to stay buried under the ground, because I'm not sure that they're going to do I'm not sure that they would stand up today. But there you go. That Project Girl is almost that old, that one there. So that was a song about Teresa, my wife, grew up in the projects, and it's really interesting now because here. So we're going to move to my son's apartment and put this house up for sale. Right, because it's a good time to sell a house, but it's not a good time to buy a house. But the house that we're looking for has to be big enough to fit my wife and I, and my daughter and her husband and their kid. Right, so we're gonna buy a 2-family somewhere, but we're looking in places that are as far away from the project as you could be. Like we're looking in Ipswich and tops like up there, right? So. Be an interesting way to end this circle, with my Project Girl. We'll be lowering the property value in some other community up here, right? So those of you that are looking to buy up in Ipswich or what other towns are up there, like
Swampscott and
Swampscott's too close, right? No, we could go out a little bit.
Applehead.
In Marblehead, you want to wait till we move there, because guarantee you the prices will come down as soon as we get in there. So if you're looking to buy up on the North Shore, right, give us a chance to bring the property value down for you. I'm gonna play this for her. We've been in this house 31 years. You believe that? 31 years, and we're glad to be leaving here, but we're having a lot of, they call them feels. We're having a lot of feels about it, and I want to leave a note for the people who are going to buy this house. Like if it goes well and somebody does buy it, I want to just let them know that this house for 30 years has had very little anger in it. I'm not sure that means anything to somebody buying a house, but it would mean something to me. This house has had mostly laughter in it. Like there's just been decade upon decade and month after month of people laughing and feeling pretty good in this house. And I think, I don't want to be too much of a hippie here, but I think the walls kind of absorb that stuff. And I know that because when I was an alarm guy installing alarms all those years, I was in houses where I just had a feeling that if I laughed in there, I would have been the first person that laughed in that house in 10 years. You could just feel it, that there's, anger and parents are fighting and whatever, So that's what we're doing. We're selling a house where the walls are filled with laughter here, and this is a song for her. I left here at 7. It's 11:30. I am dragging myself up the stairs. The 16-hour days have a definite way of making me want to pull out my hair. Tomorrow is ringing my doorbell and it's singing, I am right down here waiting on you. I am weary as hell, I know only too well. There's not a whole lot I can do. And Terry is sleeping alone with the TV on. I am on the edge of the bed. A guy on my TV is talking right to me. I don't hear a word that he says, because my mind is working against me. It's pointing all my faults out to me. But hey, me and all my imperfections are tired. We just need to get us some sleep. I just need to lay me down beside my sleeping lady, and the only sound will be of gentle breathing, enduring the hours away sleep. She is breathing a new life into me, and when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight. You know, if her breath is heavy or light or unsteady when I lie beside her this way, my body naturally knows that it has to be breathing the very same way. Please don't ask me about being married. Oh, how could I ever explain to someone what it means to a man to lie by his companion, with their two bodies breathing as one? I just need to lay me down beside my sleeping lady, and the only sound will be of gentle breathing, enduring the hours away sleep. She is breathing a new life into me, and when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight. And when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight.
Oh, Dawn, all right.
Beautiful, Dawn.
Really nice.
Thank you. So those of you over here in the Zoom part of the event, you're welcome to unmute yourselves and yap at me in between songs. I like it. I sort of developed this thing because when I first started doing this, I was just playing and it wasn't, no connection, no feelings, and then I would get so bored. I just like give up after a couple songs, just surrender. So I like the interaction and the, not in the middle of what I'm doing. That's just rude, boys and girls. But after. So I have to tell you, I've been doing these side gigs here. One of the things that I'm offering to my fans is that if you have someone in your life that's a fan of mine, and it's their birthday or whatever anniversary, offer me something and I'll make a video for them and you can give it to them as a gift, and I'll sing their favorite song. And it's been amazing. People, it's kept me alive here in the last month or so. But the most recent one was a guy whose father was from Lynn. And, most people want me to sing I Know What Love Is for my wife. This guy wanted me to sing I'm From Lynn, What Can I Say, for his father. A very emotional, spiritual song for his dad there. But it turns out that he was Greek and Irish, like I am. And that made me think of this piece from my book here. So I'm going to read this. This is called My Unique Heritage. I'll just read a part of it. But being Greek and Irish is a very peculiar mix. The two cultures are really different, and there's not a lot of them. Like, he's the first one that I met that's my age. After my, people younger than me, there was less difficult for them, but my parents and this guy's parents had to fight both churches and both families. Like, my grandfather wouldn't come to the wedding or anything. My John Soteropoulos, like the Greek, my Papuli, they call him Papul, he wouldn't come. He was like, you're marrying a Catholic, I'm out. He's like, I'm not going, right? But my parents had to fight everybody to do this, and that's what I loved about them. I'm descended from people with an incurable case of you can just leave us alone, kind of, right? My dad was, he used to say, be yourself, let them deal with it. That was his saying, right? Be yourself, right? And he was an example of it. But there's good reason why the two cultures don't mix that much. They're really different. And so here's just a little piece from my book. I'm writing another book, because the world needs another book by Dawn White. That's what this world needs. I'm writing another book, but really the reason I'm writing this new book is because I need the money. But this one I finished, 2006 or so. My unique heritage. On Christmas Day, we would visit both sides of the family. The Greeks all lived on a 3-story tenement with the grandparents on the first floor and the aunts and uncles on the second and third. As children, we would spend the day running up and down the stairs. Every door you opened revealed an apartment full of olive-skinned relatives who loved you. They loved you in a Mediterranean way. What does that mean? It means they fed you and they hugged you. Greeks hug. They pinch you on the cheek. They force food on you until you are ill, and then they squeeze you until you are gasping for air. Another noteworthy thing about these people is that there are precious few situations imaginable to them where being loud would be considered inappropriate. We would leave there in the late afternoon and spend the rest of the day with the Irish half of the family. It all seemed perfectly normal back then, but in retrospect, it was like going to another planet. The first obvious difference we encountered at the Irish house: no touching! Do not touch Irish people unless you are punching them.
Oh my gosh.
When we would arrive, my aunts and uncles would begrudgingly give us what I like to call the Irish hug. The Irish hug is when they put their arms around you as if they are being forced to do so at gunpoint. 1/4 of 1 second into this reluctant embrace, they begin to tap you on the back. Back tapping is the key ingredient of the Irish hug. It's actually a message being tapped out in Morse code. This is the translation. I hate this. Please let me go. I'll give you money. Let's have a drink. The second obvious difference is that the Irish house provides safe harbor for an extremely sophisticated sense of humor. The complexities of the Irish sense of humor deserve an entire book of research. The Irish are born with a huge genetic advantage in the field of storytelling. When an Irish person is weaving a tale, the listener is always engaged. The listener may actually be aware of the fact that what she is hearing is 80% Blarney, but it's still captivating. And this is a tremendous gift to give to the world. It also lends itself nicely to a career in politics. Okay, now... It has always seemed to me that God overcompensated the Irish with wit and humor to make up for their abysmal ineptitude in cooking. If you're going to curse an entire nation to a lifetime of dinners boiled beyond recognition, you really do owe them something big in return. I have a friend, Katie. She lives up in Ipswich, actually, and she's a very quick-witted Irish woman. And one time she told me that Irish woman knows when her meat is done when it turns gray. Okay, moving on. Now, the third obvious difference is volume. These are not loud people. Now, several years ago, I was installing an alarm system in a house full of Italians. The grandfather could not speak one syllable of English. He used hand signals to beckon me over to a locked door at the back of the basement. And when we opened it up, he was making wine in there. We had a few glasses. It was very strong. After our second glass, we had miraculously bridged our language barrier. I pointed to a covering that was on a heat pipe that was running across the ceiling. I said, "This is asbestos." And he raised his glass and he said, "Asbestos!" And I raised my glass and I said, "Asbestos! This will kill you!"
Oh my goodness.
I'm crying.
And he raised his glass and he said, "Asbestos! Kill you!" And we had some more wine. Now, later that day, I heard people upstairs and they were yelling. The whole family was screaming at the top of their lungs. I was accustomed to hearing women yell. My mother, remember that Greek woman, my mother? She yells all the time. My mother will yell about anything. It's one of her daily activities. Often she's not even angry. Her family just believes in the theory that the loudest person wins. My dad, on the other hand, the Irish guy, he never yells when he gets angry. Instead, and you Irish people know this is true, he seethes. That's right. He seethes. As a child, my experience with the sound of a man raising his voice was that he had been seething over something for a week, and this was the sound you heard when his head finally exploded. Often what followed that was trouble. Great, big, very real trouble. So I am running wires over asbestos-covered pipes in the Italian basement for an alarm system to protect the illegal winery. When the entire family starts screaming, the men are so loud you can hear them a block away. I fully expect to hear gunfire. I consider climbing out the window and leaving my tools behind and trying to escape with my life. Instead, I climb to the top of the basement stairs, expecting to see blood and battered bodies. I peek around the door to the dining room, and I see all 10 of them sitting around the table and passing around pastry. Passing around pastry and screaming at each other. For a moment, it all seemed so surreal to me that I thought the old man might have given me some psychedelic wine. No wonder he needed an alarm system. So I watched for a while and finally realized that Italians are like Greeks, only louder. They can scream at you, feed you, call you an idiot, and love you, all at the same time. It is amazing to witness. It is so not Irish. Ta-da!
Yay, good.
Woo! Woo!
Nice going.
All right. That's a story full of nice stereotypes. Gotta love that. All right. So this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play until about 5 minutes up. Then we're gonna have our Poets Corner. We have a good friend of mine who's gonna read a poem. Then we'll take a short break, like maybe 3 minutes. And during that break, like between 8 o'clock and 8:05, something like that, if you can drop a couple bucks into the Dawn White Ramen Noodle Fund, that would be great. But if you can't, believe me, I love you and you're welcome. And I mean this. I say this every week, but I'm telling you, it looks to me like I'm going to be back on the road within half a year. I think summer or fall, something like that, with vaccinations and all that. But if you're struggling at that point and you want to come see me, and anybody, just send me an email. If you don't have any money, if it's possible, if there's room, I'll get you in. You're always welcome where I am. I've been without money more than I've had it. So let me just say that clearly and plainly. But if you're doing okay, me and all the musicians and artists, we all lost our way to make a living. So if you can, drop a few bucks, we'll buy groceries with it. It's as simple as that. And so we have PayPal and Venmo. And for those of you like me who can't figure out which one of the holes in the back of my computer I put the $20 bill into to get it to somebody else, we have this thing called an envelope and a piece of paper and a stamp, and you can give it to the Pony Express, and they'll send it to me. And that'll be great. Now, let's play a couple songs here. Let's see. In this portrait of sadness, in the big gallery, we see a man in the foreground in such misery, but the horizon behind him is vibrant and bright. We see him staring into darkness, but covered in light. If I were the painter, I would paint you with wings, and I would dress you in the colors that come in the spring. And when your heart was in darkness and you were alone, I would paint sunshine around you and wings to carry you home. In this portrait of self-esteem. There is a woman in danger of a life without dreams. And as they stare at her shoulders, Lord, all I can see is this a mountain of a burden where wings ought to be. If I were the painter, I would paint you with wings, and I would dress you in the colors that come in the spring. And when your heart was in darkness and you were alone, I would paint sunshine around you and wings to carry you home. This face in my mirror, this portrait of me, is constantly changing for the whole world to see. But the hand on the brushes that color this face is the hand that belongs to the person it paints. If I am the painter, I will paint me with wings, and I will dress me in the colors that come in the spring. And when my heart is in darkness and I am alone, I will paint sunshine around me and wings to carry me home. I will paint sunshine around me and wings to carry me home.
Beautiful, Dawn. Love it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Always
you.
beautiful, Don. Thank you.
You're welcome. So at the 1 year anniversary of this madness, I've been thinking a lot about people that I know who were not doing well before they had to be isolated, and I think maybe through this year, it's brought me more attention to the power of small kindnesses. Call somebody up, ask them how they're doing, whatever. I don't want to get too. It sounds too much like a preachy folk singer here, but it's I definitely think like I'll call my friends once in a while who I know are alone or weren't doing well, have mental health issues, whatever, and sometimes I think I'm the only person they've talked to in a month. So there you go. That was for them and for you and for everybody. So here. I'm going to play this song. Most people come every week here, and I haven't played it for a couple weeks, but I'm going to play it. I'm prepping this for when I get back out and shows. I'm going to have the whole audience singing this song because I did it a couple of times just before shutdown, and it was unbelievable to have the entire Club Passim singing the chorus of this. So this song is called "This Is Nothing." It's a song about my concerns about the fact that not only is weed legal where I live, but it's everywhere. It's coming out of churches and kindergartens and police cars. In fact, my friend Ellen was telling me, I walk my dog in Lynn and I can smell it coming out of the cemetery, Dawn. How popular is it where dead people are smoking it? It's really getting out of hand, Dawn. So this is my song about this. I think it's good that it's legal, if you're in pain or you just want to have fun, whatever. But I'm concerned about conversation. When we get together, I said this last week, you're going to want to come and see me when I get out to a regular show, because I have a lot of pent-up entertainment in me. I'm gonna tear that stage to pieces when I'm there, and then we're going to talk. I'm going to hang around until every single person is gone after, and just enjoy conversation with people. And I love conversation. And now in this town, you have to be choosy about who you decide to invest your conversation in, because sometimes you're halfway into something that you think is meaningful, and the person you're talking to, their eyes are bloodshot and they're rolling around their head, and they're ordering pizza while you're talking to them, whatever. So that's what this song is about. Here you go. I sat around with a bunch of stoners, and I listened to them talk all night long. They were sure that their conversation was deep with meaning. They were wrong, 'cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. My friend Harry lit up a fatty to celebrate my brand new job. I watched his brain float out of my window. He left me talking to an empty block. 'Cause when you smoke it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. It cures glaucoma, it cures insomnia. Some people say that it is a cancer cure, but it does not cure incoherent conversation, that's for sure. Ta-da!
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Love it.
I'm going to put this in gallery view so I can see how many people are flaring up in my little group here. Look at all the smoke in these squares. Esther, put that thing on. What's the matter with you? Come on now.
My mom's here, Don. Stop it.
I just got you in trouble. In trouble.
He's a liar.
Not done. That's it. No.
All right, so let's see, one more tune, and then we'll get our poet up here. I'm like I've said this quite a lot through the time that I've been doing these Thursday nights, and that my world, the way I approach, when I first met Esther, actually, I was sharing my time away from home when not working. When I was out, I was going to Catch a Rising Star, which is where I think I first really got to know Esther, which was a comedy club, and I had a job there. I ran an open mic after, but I used to do comedy there too and learn those things. And then right down the street at it was at Charlie's Tap, but then later at TT the Bears in Cambridge was the Stone Soup Poets. And so I was absorbing the poetry scene, and the Stone Soup Poets in the, I guess would have been the late 80s, early 90s in Cambridge was indescribable. Cambridge is kind of indescribable anyway, the People's Republic of Cambridge. But to have like a free, open, say what you want, thing run by Jack Powers, it was amazing. It was just amazing. And then of course I was going to Naked City and Catch a Rising Star, and so I was mixed between folk singers and poets and storytellers and comedians, and that's all been my world. So this thing that I'm doing here, I'm inviting my friends that are storytellers, and we've got this little poetry thing going, and I'm just trying to introduce my friends to who I think are good poets. So let me do this one more tune, then we'll get our poetry thing going. And maybe we'll have a discussion on Naked City. Esther, what do you think? Naked City, just briefly. Naked City was an open mic in Allston, Massachusetts, where the people who owned the building didn't know that there was an open mic in it. How about that? Right? So there was no rules. There was no rules. The people, we were squatting in there. Like, there was this building where there were little offices in it, I guess little rooms, right, where artists were in. They would all leave at 6 o'clock, and then we would just go take the hallway over and do whatever we wanted. It was insane. All right, so here we go. Our kids are grown, they're both in their 20s. They live at home, they are never gonna leave. And why should they go? They've got it good here, you know. Their food, their phone, their rent is free. They would have to be out of their minds to leave. But I was thinking, what if things were different? You know, living here at home with you and me. What if we decided we could act like they both did when they were in their teens? So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We will both get really drunk, we'll put a big dent in her trunk. We'll drive real fast down the thoroughfare. If we get a speeding ticket, we won't care. We'll be the ones all night acting wild. They'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Come on out and be 16 with me. Picture our kids calling all of our friends up and asking them if they know where we are. Of course, all our friends will lie. They say they ain't seen us all night, but we'll be standing right beside them while they're on the phone, smoking and drinking and carrying on when we come strolling home on Sunday morning. You know, around 10 o'clock while the neighbors walk to church, our kids will ask us where we've been. They'll ask us again, and we will just make up a great big lie and swear that it's the truth until the day we die. And they'll be the ones who are trying to find the truth out. We'll be the ones who are lying through our teeth, and under pressure we'll confess that we had unprotected sex. That will gross them out so much they might just start to think about moving out if turnabout is fair play in this life. And what better way to encourage them to live than to give them both a dose of what it was like to live with them when they were in their teens. So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We'll both get really drunk, we'll put a big dent in her trunk, and no one will know where we are until we come home in a police car. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild, and they'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Oh man, be careful, you're not as young as you used to be. That's 40 feet down there. I should have brought a ladder probably. You know what? The kids are both drunk and passed out. Let's just go out the front door. Come on out and be 16 with me.
Love it, John.
Well
Awesome.
done. Woo!
All right. Well,
Great.
welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. So this is something that we started doing about a month ago, and I'm just looking through my list of all the poets that I love that I think you should know, and we're just sort of easing them into this community. So filling the Poets Corner today is somebody whose work he's really just one of my favorites. He's coming to us from Rhode Island, and his name is Johnny Flaherty. So please welcome.
Hey, Johnny. Great to see you, Johnny.
So Johnny, thank you and welcome for
Johnny,
being here.
Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm going to read 3 short poems. The first is about the month of March. It's called In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lullaby. March for sure is an inscrutable month, testing our faith in February shadows. With wind chill voodoo, snow white nor'easters, and frost on your windshield encores. Then, first day of spring, bada bing, night and day are equal. You and me are balanced with a renewed sense of wonder. I see daffodils popping up through the snow. I see shamrocks and 1,000 smiles. I hear Danny Boy sung in Japanese. I hear pipes of Pan in my dreams. Indeed, coping with nature's dire transitions, sire's lion-hearted resilience. That's it.
Awesome.
All right, Johnny.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right, Johnny.
I'm reading from my book, Perfectly Round Ripples. And
3 great books.
some perfectly round ripples made by a jagged stone. I'm going to read the first and last poems. The title poem. I tossed a golf ball into the pond where it made perfectly round ripples that traveled all the way to the farther shores. And I tossed a jagged stone into the pond, and it too made perfectly round ripples that traveled all the way to the farther shores. Next, I found an old sneaker with laces missing, tossed it into the pond, which brought on a thumping splash, causing geese and turtles to turn their heads, but soon lose interest as it made perfectly round ripples that traveled all the way to the farther shores. Now, should the deeds we perpetrate here on earth, good or evil, planned or accidental, make perfectly round ripples that travel all the way to the farther shores of the cosmic sea, so mote it be. We shall for sure receive our due somewhere in the unflinching residuum.
Yeah.
Woo! All
All
right.
right, Johnny.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Yay,
Oh my
yay,
gosh.
yay.
Yeah.
One more. Final poem in my book. It's called Ask No More Than in the Race. Pushing your boulder up the hill, test your wherewithal and your will. Slinking back down when it slips away, test your faith in another day. Dragging your cross through crowded streets brings on that high of which no one speaks. The big surreal only you can see. Every single two-face etched in your memory. Ask no more than in the race. Coming in last ain't no disgrace. When you get to show some maverick moves while singing straight from your heartbreak shoes. Good deeds done for who knows who pays you back with a dream come true. As you drink your fill from the poet's gourd, then ride a ripple to the farther shore. That's it.
Hey, Johnny.
Johnny.
So great to see you, my friend.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
So Johnny's gonna hang around, and we'll try to get him to do another poem or two in the after party. But for now, I believe that Brandon has put his information into the chat. If you want to pick up his book or see what he's up to, I recommend the book highly. I mean, I have that one that he's reading from, and you can hear his voice when you read it.
Oh yeah.
It's a particular in way that he speaks. It's wonderful. So one more time for Johnny Flaherty, please.
Johnny, nice going.
Yay, Johnny Flaherty.
And Don, I would just add, I have all three of Johnny's books, and they are fabulous. It's well worth investment.
You know, if Neil Braverman likes you, you're on top of the world. That's the way I look at it. All right, I'm going to go splash some water on my face. I'll be back in 3 minutes. I'll play till about 20 past, 25 past, and then we'll have an after party and chat with some friends and hear some tunes and stories and songs and poems. If you can drop a few bucks into the grocery bill here, we'd appreciate it, but no pressure, only love. We'll see you in 3 minutes. Hey, welcome back. Here I am. All right, so here, unmute yourselves like good folks there, and let's chat a little bit. So I see that, man, the chats are really interesting today. Roz was saying how she heard Dar Williams sing Project Girl with me way back. Man, that's an old memory. I think I have video somewhere from the old Vienna of me and Jan Luby singing there too. Boy, we were babies then. I overheard a man complaining how his 401k was not performing quite how he would like it to. As he sipped his double latte and continued to complain, I thought about that day in 1982. We were living in the shack with the outhouse in the back. If I'm not mistaken, you were pregnant too. We thought it might be funny to count up all of our money and discuss all the investing we could do. We pulled our pockets inside out, pulled the cushions off the couch, stuck our fingers inside. And then we emptied out the pockets of the jackets in our closet, but not one single penny did we find. So after the realization our financial situation was not conducive to investment at this time, we decided to invest in what we've always done best. Danced around the kitchen for a while, we do the victory dance. But life is such a mess, we don't know what else to do. Do the victory dance when being penniless became literal to me and you. Well, you can jump off of a building, take a bunch of pills, and walk around in a trance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, go on and do the victory dance. I got fired from a job I have been working at for 20 years faithfully. Oh dear, oh God, how will I ever survive without a corporation taking care of me? I was so stressed out for weeks I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I didn't think that things would ever turn my way. And then a couple months went by, I began to realize, man, I really hated working at that place. So I started working for myself, improved my mental health, happier than I've ever been before. Oh dear, oh my, oh God, I should have quit that stupid job 19 years ago. Do the victory dance when my life forces me to go out on my own. And then I just declare a victory, and I march my army home. There are things you can't control, things you never know, and things are always left to chance. If you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas, do the victory dance. When your life forces you to go out on your own, just declare victory and then march your army home. There are things you can't control, things you never know, some things are always left to chance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, if you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas. If the world has gone to hell and you got in your car there's a 10-gallon bucket of Purell, you're stuck in a tiny house with your children and your spouse, and they canceled all your shows and you got nowhere to go. Now you're sitting in your room playing concerts on Zoom. What? And you wonder what it means to play songs to a computer screen. Across the top are little squares, all your friends are trapped inside of there. And you say to your friends that are trapped in the squares, give me a sign, let me know that you're okay in there. That's right. Trapped in a square on a computer screen is just a metaphor for quarantine. You know that, right? If you lose your money, but you still got your honey. If you lose your honey, but you still got some money. You find it hard to cope cause your kids are all on dope. Don't surrender yet, try not to forget. In this game of life we're in, in this game of life we're in this game of life that we are in, if you don't die you win.
Hey, Don. I love it.
Loved it.
The
Loved
crowd's
it.
going wild.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes mild.
Absolutely.
You're my favorite little bunch of holograms, I gotta tell you.
You say that to all the holograms.
Busted. Totally busted. So there's people here that I came up with in the Cambridge days, which like I don't know how you could have gone more of a hippie scene than like in those times in there was like it was off the rails kind of. So here this is for all the old hippies and the people that listen to them. The unfortunate young people who listen to them. Here we go. And this is for whatever percentage of the audience knows who Baba Ram Das was. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She keeps her ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in the little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talking about the Grateful Dead, the Summer of Love or the Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in the glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Keezy, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You know, you should have been 20 in 1969. All the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Das never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. And those were the first words Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving on the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun singing. Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Das never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969. Since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith, get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who dance in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute, if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Das never said, be there then.
Yay! Fun! Be here now.
Yeah, be here now.
Yeah.
Here now. Who woke up the old hippies? What's going on?
Wow.
Young hippies.
Elizabeth McKim's here. Well, in the after party, we'll ask her if she ever met Ram Dass. She met every other hippie from that era. She probably met him too. So Joe Cowan, I just want to wave at you. Is that your daughter with the hazel eyes? There she is right there. Joe Cowan and his daughter. Man, wow, she was just a little baby when I last saw her. What does that mean? That means Don White is old.
Draft.
Don White's ancient. That's the kind of thing old people say. I remember you when you were just a little baby. All right. So here we are. We're winding down another ridiculous Thursday night here. So I'm going to play one more tune. Then take another break. I want to thank everybody that was able to donate during the intermission. We'll do that just again for just a couple minutes. And then we'll have our after party. We have wonderful friends here. And I'm seeing lots of people that I might just yank out of the crowd tonight for, Mark Stepikov, you might want to consider keeping that guitar handy. And Joe Cowan, how would you feel about that? Maybe playing a tune later on. What do you think? Yeah, all right, good. Well, we'll think about it. Anyway, this is what we do in the after party is just gather and talk and have some community. It'll be nice when we can all do it in person. But for now, we're using technology to do that. I'm gonna So I toured with my son from the time he was 14 till he got married. He got married in his mid-20s, I think, or somewhere around there. So we did at least 10 years on the road, and it was really something. Like, I can't. The far further I get away from it, the more special it seemed to me. Because when he was young, 14. It was a time for me to not have to be his dad. Like, we were just two guys on the road, really. He used to read Shakespeare to me while we were driving on the road and stuff. And he was quite a good guitar player, so he worked his way into the show and made his own fans. And, these young women would come up to me, and I'd be like, hello. And they were like, is your son nearby anywhere? You're like, yep, that's where we are now. But one of the things that we would do, because a big hunk of my audience is people in recovery, is that we would go into places, I would say call them dark places where teenagers were being forced to be in a rehab by the court system, and we'd go and entertain them. And I think a lot of times, it didn't matter especially in that situation where there's one particular, it was a cab group up in Danvers here. So it was all teenagers that had the choice of going to rehab, like for the holiday. Like it was Christmas time, I believe. Go in here or go to jail. It was that thing, right? And I don't think they really cared what the songs were much, but I could tell that the effect that we were having was that they were seeing, maybe for the first time ever, the possibility that a father and a son could get along with each other and be pals. We were projecting that into a room where that was new information. And they probably weren't going to be able to, realistically be able to do that, have that situation with their own parents. But the possibility of it and realizing it as a possibility made me wonder if, maybe down the road they could at least they had an example of it for when they had their own kids. So this is a song that we would play in those situations, and it's a song that I've closed a lot of my shows with. It's called Angel in Pieces, and it's a song about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves. And I know a lot of people that are here tonight that you do that. You do it quietly or maybe in a bigger way, but you're all doing it because that's the people that come into my world, the people who are taking care of each other. So on behalf of humanity, for whom I am the official spokesperson, I just want to thank you all for your small kindnesses out there in the world. And this is called Angel in Pieces, 2-minute break, and then we will have what's going to shape up to be a really fun after party. Walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said I've surrendered, and her face, I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said I've given up. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. You know, life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like ghosts. And we see them as they are breaking, and as their spirit dies. But deep inside, we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Now she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And those old dark eyes, they are so alive. They set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel. I say to myself, I feel Zuzu's petals. I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are. Thank you for another great Thursday.
Oh, Don, that was beautiful.
That's
The
I
classic.
love that song, Don.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Love that song. Love you, buddy.
You know, I just want to say this to the people that come all the time here. You mean a lot to me. Thanks. I can't, appreciate you. Much love here. Let me blow this into my computer. Oh, all this blood all
Got
over.
it.
Don, we
Yeah.
love
Got it.
you. You're our angel in all our pieces.
All right, so I'll be back in just a few minutes. If you can donate something, that's great. Otherwise, we're gonna start. No matter what, we're gonna start our after party in just a few minutes. If you haven't been to it, might be worth checking out. You never know what's gonna happen there.
Awesome.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So thank you for supporting live music, live hologram music here. So this is the after party, and this is really where I get to hang out with my friends and introduce them to a new audience. And so I'm going to start with my friend Esther. She might need a little tech support, Brandon. I was reading in the chat there. So this is my friend Esther Friedman. I've known her since Catch a Rising Star when I was running an open mic there in the late 80s and early 90s. She's a great songwriter and an author and just a dear friend to me, and I can't wait to share her with you. So let's give her a nice round of applause, please.
Hey, Esther.
You know what? I missed that introduction. I have to be honest. Brandon, I don't know if you're there, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you have a turn off original sound in the top left corner?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
And
I
can
am
you hear the
hearing a
guitar
little-
okay?
Yeah, I can. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo from your mic, though. So
Okay.
can you just pop into the audio settings real quick?
Yep. My apologies, folks.
Oh, it's okay. No worries. It happens. That echo cancellation button down in the music
Yes.
and professional audio section, uncheck that.
It is unchecked.
Can you check it then?
Okay. It's checked.
Hello, hello?
Hello, hello.
Okay, you're good now.
Okay. All right.
Esther, why don't you start us off with a tune, and the next time around we'll chat a little bit about all the things that you're up to, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Starry-eyed believer seeks any kind face. You, the deceiver, sensed a trace, the delicious longing of those so insecure. Make for perfect fish to lure. Starry-eyed believer, seek any kind word. You, the deceiver, saw and heard the hollow voice and the pleading look. Grabbed your fishing pole and slipped the bait on the hook. So let the siren song begin, don that devout disguise. Such a seductive melody in such a pretty disguise. Lost souls float aimlessly, waiting on you to set them free. Mouths agape and baked in for the bait. Custom made for you to captivate. So let the feeding frenzy Begin on that devout disguise. You are ready for the bait and the switch. You got a lot of fish to fry. Bottom feeders, parasites, sharks on the hunt, vultures in flight. Even Bernie Madoff's got nothing on you. Got your cauldron out, you got some guppies to stew. Starry-eyed believer, starry-eyed believers, starry-eyed believers, starry-eyed believers.
Thanks, Esther.
That was
Thank
great,
you.
Esther.
Very good.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Some inspiring bitterness, you know?
So everybody remember the theme of that song. When we come around again, we will go into some discussion on the background of it. All right. One more time for Esther Friedman, please.
Hey, Esther. Awesome.
All right. So now another woman that I'm a huge fan of. This woman is coming to us from, I believe, Colorado, although she's all over the place. You never know where she is, but I think from Colorado. So let's have a nice hand for Shanna in a dress, please.
Yeah, Shanna.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, in a dress.
Hey, I'm getting to know some of you, which is so fun. Thanks for having me, Don. And Esther, that song was great. I'm so glad I got to hear that one. I'm excited to hear the story that is apparently to come.
Yes.
I'm going to play you guys a song that I just released on my YouTube channel yesterday, and Neil Braverman has already seen it and requested it. So thanks, Neil. Honestly, the story that sparked this was that I joined this women's running group in Boulder, and I showed up, and it was super snowy. My shoes didn't fit me because they were old, and I just was completely poorly outfitted for the elements. And all of the women in this running group, they're all 20 years older than me, because that's my pace. And they were like, oh, this just won't do. And they come back and the next day and gave me all of their awesome leftover running clothes that were hanging out in their closet. And then I looked down and I looked around at everyone around me and was like, I think I'm the best dressed one here now. So that plus the prompt secondhand shoes turned into this song. The Colorado cold made the sidewalk slick. I showed up to run in shoes that don't fit, and no gloves and a cotton shirt that absorbed all the rain. And all of the ladies went home, combed their closets for leftover racewear, jackets with pockets, and I was the best dressed jogger the following day. Here I stand in my second-hand shoes, in a thrift store dress, and a car I bought used, singing along to chords I stole from popular music. Came in this world unscarred and brand new. Now I'm a product of all of you. I'm a hand-me-down, hand-me-down, hand-me-down human. My family gave me the way that I speak directly, just the facts. It's not about your feelings. Now I always shoot straight, and I'm strong in my roots. like the tree that holds up the hammock where I lay was a gift from some kind soul in the olden days, where I kick my heels up and read my library books. Here I stand in my second-hand shoes and a thrift store dress and a car I bought used, singing along the chords I stole from popular music. Came in this world unscarred and brand new. Now I'm a product of all of you. I'm a hand-me-down, hand-me-down, hand-me-down human. Then there's all of these things I try hard to erase, like when Peter called me ugly in the 6th grade. Every angle I see now comes from ways of the past. The land where I live gave me freedom and a bunch of unfairness I've benefited from. Interesting how long disparaging words can last. I'm patchwork of mercy and hardship collisions. Wanna pass down the best of what I've been given. Oh, here I stand, my second-hand shoes and a thrift store dress and a car I bought used, singing along the chords I stole from popular music. Came in this world unscarred and brand new. Now I'm a product of all of you. I'm a hand-me-down, hand-me-down, hand-me-down human. I'm a hand-me-down, 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 hand-me-down human.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was great, my dear.
Shanna, every song you come up with is just putting the rest of them backwards, man. You just your songwriting is just fantastic. So you'll hang around with us and we'll chat next time
Heck
around.
yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
All right, one more time for Shanna and Chris.
All right, Shanna.
Yeah.
Woo!
Guys.
So originally, a storyteller friend of mine, Kim Whitecamp, was going to be with us tonight, but she doesn't feel good. She got her second shot and told me that she wanted to just lay down. So we'll get her back. So that gives me kind of an open spot to reach into the crowd. So I'm going to ask my friend Mark Stepikoff if he'll play a song for us. So Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go. This is a good friend of mine and a great songwriter. And I think, Shanna, do you know Mark? Have you seen Mark Stepikoff before? You guys should know each
I
other.
don't think so.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
That song was great, Shanna, and I've been running too in lockdown. I run
How's it
very
going?
slowly also, and run in the cold in the mornings. And
Do you need any of my leftover clothes?
I used to run with Esther. She'll tell you that. We were running for a while, but the thing I'll say about running is I always say this: I don't like running. I like having run.
Smart.
You know? So I never enjoy it, but I'm glad that I do it. So anyway, thanks, Don. This has been great, and so I'm going to try to play a new song for you that I never played in public, and we'll just see how it goes. You know, I'm kind of in lockdown here, and so I've been writing a lot, but you know, back in the old days, you know, the pattern was you'd write some songs and then you would go out and play them and gauge the reaction and try to, you know, figure out, you know, which songs work and which songs need to go back to the tool shed. And I don't really get to do that now. I just write for my own amusement. So I'll, you know, I know I'm among friends here, so I'll try this and we'll see how it goes. It's 4 in the morning when my baby wanders in. I've been waiting up, but she won't tell me where she's been. I love her like no other, but what's clearly the case is that my baby likes to keep me on a need-to-know basis. I try to be an open book, I wish she'd do the same. But everything with her is just some kind of guessing game. Instead of coming clean, she wants to put me through my paces. Yes, my baby likes to keep me on a need-to-know basis. Without a word, she kisses me, and man, does she smell nice. I think it's Chanel No. 5, but it might be Old Spice. And you could stick bamboo shoots underneath her fingernails, but all I know is even so, I won't get the details. Did she go to a cabaret or to a restaurant? I wish that she would treat me like I was her confidant. But if I ask too many questions, I won't stay in her good graces, 'cause my baby likes to keep me on a need-to-know basis. I'd like to think she'd clue me in, if she only could. I tell myself her reticence is just for my own good. And it's very thoughtful of her not to put me in harm's way, 'cause she's probably working undercover for the CIA. And I know that she's got secrets that can never be revealed. Yes, and even when she's kissing me, her lips are always sealed. But I love how when I'm with her, my imagination races, 'cause my baby likes to keep me on a need-to-know basis. Yes, my baby likes to keep me on a, and I guess she's always gonna. My baby likes to keep me on a need-to-know basis.
Oh, that was awesome, Mark.
Yay, wonderful. Thank
It's
you.
a hit.
Rhymes,
What a debut. A debut on the Dawn White Thursday night show. We love those. Mark Stepakoff, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hey, Mark, that was great.
Thank
Keep writing, mister.
Nice song.
All right, so we'll go another round, and then we'll get at the end of this round, we'll get Johnny Flaherty to do another poem for us, and we'll do another round and see what happens. But so let's get back to Esther. So Esther, let you and I talk about your interesting life, okay?
Okay,
All right.
I'm ready.
I don't know how to describe. So Esther just finished writing a book, but before she wrote this book, her and I were working together on this one-woman show that she was working on, which is quite involved in. And that's something, just so you know, I do that for a lot of folks. They'll bring me their projects, and if I try to contribute something to it. With Esther, it was a pretty serious subject, so I try to inject some humor into it, so when she was performing it, it would flow a little better, or flow, be more entertaining, I guess. But it's quite a compelling story. So Esther, I really don't even know how to describe it. So, well, hey girl, what's your book about?
Well, how do I say this quickly? In 2006, I met a friend who invited me into a group, and I left the group in 2011 and looked back on it and said, that was a cult. And cults are kind of trendy now, but they weren't back then, and this was a super secretive group. So let's just say I've become very obsessed with the whole topic. So how's that?
That's pretty good. Let me just make sure I give more information for people. Like, this was a cult that sued her after she left them. That she had to like recruit somebody to go and get people out of it, and they were threats and all that stuff. So it's and it starts. What you learn from reading what she's written is that they're sort of trained to see in you, like at the supermarket, that your life isn't going the way you'd want, and wouldn't you like to come to this group and read classic books or whatever, and then next thing you know, you're out recruiting yourself. It's fascinating. And she has a web page where she talks about it, Cult Confessions it's called, and I can't wait to see the book. So that first the song Starry-Eyed Believer makes more sense now, doesn't it? Oh, you little holograms. That's right, that was her. She was the starry-eyed believer in the supermarket.
That was me. And yes, it was a supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to play another tune for us? It doesn't have to be on that subject, but I didn't want people to know that you have a new book that will be coming out sometime.
Yeah, sure. Actually, since Mark's here, I'm thinking I might play one we wrote together. This song started on a trip with my husband. We were in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and when we left Clarksdale, Mississippi, like we literally stayed in a place called Shantytown, and when we left, there was something about the rhythm of the wheels that got this started, and then I got home and I couldn't finish it. And what I do when I can't finish songs is I go to Mark Stepakoff, and this is the end result. Mama broke her back filling up cotton sacks. Bust me out of this old shack. Hear those train wheels clicking and clacking. Daddy laid down these tracks. I'm leaving Shantytown. Leaving Shantytown. Ain't done nothing but shake me down. I am Chicago bound. Nothing left here but a hole in the ground. Ain't nobody gonna turn me around. I'm leaving Shantytown. Up on a bluff, a mansion stands. My granddad built it with his hands. Down below he toiled the land till his legs were too weak to stand. I have got to go while I still can. I'm leaving Shantytown. Leaving Shantytown. Ain't done nothing but shake me down. I am Chicago bound. Nothing left here but a hole in the ground. Ain't nobody gonna turn me around. I'm leaving Shantytown. Hear that whistle loud and shrill. 20 hours left to kill. Jackson, Memphis, Evansville, cotton fields, textile mills. I am better off now, come what will. I'm leaving Shantytown. Leaving Shantytown. Ain't done nothing but shake me down. I am Chicago bound. Chug, 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 I'm gaining ground. That's the gospel, that's the sound of leaving Shantytown. Leaving Shantytown. Ain't done nothing but shake me down. I am Chicago bound. Nothing left here but a hole in the ground. Ain't nobody gonna turn me around. I'm leaving Shantytown.
Wow, Esther, that was nice.
Esther, that was
Beautiful.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woo.
That was wonderful. Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice work there. Esther, when you were leaving Clarksville, was it on the last train?
I knew that was coming.
There's a little nursing home joke for you there, boys and girls. All right.
Not exactly, but yeah.
One more time for Esther Friedman. Beautiful.
Hey, Esther. Beautiful.
Esther.
All right, Shanna, what do you want to talk about? What do you got coming up? Anything exciting? How's your bicycle tour coming? Is it late? Is it starting to be a real thing now?
It's starting to be a real thing slowly. First, public service announcement. If you'd like me to come to your town and play a show, or if you know where I could play, fill out the form in the link in the Zoom chat. But there's an awesome nonprofit I've partnered with, Pangea World Foundation, and I'm really excited to share their mission with the world. There's a man who might want to do a documentary about it. I have a support driver secured. So I don't know if there's like 190 miles in between shows. I don't have to bike the entire distance. So it's going to kick off, I think, July 1st of the summer. And I'm still a little terrified of all the logistics that need to fall into place, but some of them are. So thank you for asking.
So you're leaving from Colorado and coming to the East Coast, is that it?
No, I'm leaving from the West Coast.
Wow, 3,000 miles. That's bring a spare tire.
Yeah. I feel like I should probably hop on a bike sometime soon.
Not a bad idea. Well, so starting in July, so are you coming right across the middle? Are you coming across all the rectangles there?
Yeah, I'm coming right to you.
Okay.
I'm going to show up in your backyard.
All right. I'm moving. I'll have to give you the new address.
I'll show up at your new backyard.
Yeah, yeah. So when do you think you'll be in New England?
I think either late August or early September.
Okay, so we'll find some work for you here by then, I'm sure.
Awesome. And if anyone's watching that's in other spots, all of that ruralville crossing the U.S. is a nice big open empty slate. So if you have any friends there, let them know. I'm coming through,
Are you going to like film, like is it going to be like live streamed? You may as well, right? Some of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's like always plan B if I can't get a live show. Although it'd be fun to live stream some of the live shows too.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Good luck with it. We'll see you when you get here.
If I don't get hit by a car.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping that it's going to be great excitement for you and a great adventure. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
All right. So why don't you play us a tune?
Okay. So you guys, I finished this one last night. So here's a debut. I figured even if it's not perfectly edited yet, this is as close as I'm going to get to trying it out on an audience. So it's a newborn baby. That's all I wanted to say. But I was thinking about what I want to be like when I'm old, and I wrote this. I hope when I'm old I play pranks on my children, curse like a sailor and walk marathons, drive a pink car or pay someone else to, and when the second hand slows I decide when I'm done. I hope that I bake chocolate cookies that can make anybody get weak in the knees. Then I can live on in your tongue and in your tum. I'd make sure everyone gets the recipe. I hope every line on my face that I've earned reminds me of laughter and lessons I've learned. Like always wear sunscreen and gray hair will come back in style. And when the topic of every day is about the state of my body aches, I hope I remember to think
Maybe those who fell too young are watching us from beyond, whispering memories every day, saying you could be so sick of this, but I'd give anything to be with you and your creaky knees and daily pain. Ooh. I hope my people's skills will be so sharp that when I lose my ears, I can hear with my heart. When I lose my marbles, it doesn't cause heartache. When I lose my wallet, there's nothing left to take. I hope I fall in love with someone so sturdy I can wink at the mailman, never rein in my flirting. I hope that I'm healthy, but within reason. Sometimes ditch the salad, 'cause fries are in season. And when my friends start to complain about hardships of sun-ripened days, I hope I remember to say, maybe those who fell too young are listening from beyond, whispering memories every night, saying you could be so sick of this, but I'd give anything to be with you and your doctors and your failing sight. Ooh. I hope when I think back on my time on earth that I don't give two shits what others think I'm worth. I hope by then that I'll know I'm enough and that I don't leave my kids with a house full of stuff. I hope I've seen Thailand, Egypt, and Paris. I hope I have grandkids I get to embarrass. I want to be Betty White and the Maud to a Harold. I hope I get it on decades after I'm sterile. I hope if I've aged perfectly right, I can make people as happy as my friend Don White in the middle of a pandemic on a Thursday night. I sure hope. And maybe those who left too young are watching us from beyond, whispering memories every night, saying you could be so sick, you see, but I'd give anything to be you and get a little more time. Ooh.
Beautiful.
Wow. Woo!
Oh my goodness. He's crying.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
John's
Beautiful.
eyes all wet, crying again.
Yeah.
Perfectly crafted.
Oh my gosh, I just need to shout out that line, I lose my ears and hear with my heart. That's just like killer.
Oh,
So pretty.
Anna, you're cute. You're killing me. Every time I see you, I'm a little closer to the ground. You just keep killing me. I just think that you're fantastic. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll go around one more time. But I want to thank you just for being in our community. You're bringing something to it that it needs desperately. It's a tremendous songwriting ability, big heart, and a great sense of humor. So I'm a fan and an advocate. And let's hear it one more time for Shanna in a Dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys liked my new newborn baby that's
Yes.
still bloody and has the umbilical cord attached?
Oh, God, no. It's cleaned up and shiny, baby.
Yeah, no editing needed on that one, Shanna.
Oh, gorgeous.
It's a little long.
I don't care.
Yeah.
We
But,
love them.
And the Don White Thursday night shout out was perfect.
Yeah.
I added a lot to the song. Yeah.
I just want to say for the record, I would have liked the song anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Shanna. We'll go around one more time. But now I want to bring back our poet for the night, the fantastic and extraordinary and wonderful and unique Mr. John Flaherty. There he is right there. Johnny. So let's talk for a second, Johnny. So do you have any concerts, any appearances coming up or anything? Open mic features or anything like that?
No features, just I show up here and there. Catbird and Speak Up and Lynn.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So if people want to pick up your books or find out what you're doing, this information in the page is the way to do it, right? It's a website or a Facebook page, right?
Yeah, you can look up my Facebook page, Ebbing and Fibbing /poetry, and I have a CD out. You can look up Johnny Flaherty. Here and Now. I think that's the name of it.
So I'm looking at johnnyflahertyhereinnow.com. It's this is
Yeah.
all in the chat, everybody. YouTube, Johnny Flaherty, YouTube, and all that. So I think you're great, Johnny. I'm so glad that you're here. So why don't you do a poem or two for us?
I'm going to do a poem about beggars. Beggars have been around the longest people have been around. Some real, some fake. They show up in the Bible. There was a movie that came out in the 30s, made of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. One of the more interesting characters in the movie was the king of the beggars. If you wanted to be a beggar in the city of Paris, you had to work for the king. He would provide you with props like crutches, slings, bandages, eye patch, and assign you a spot where you would practice your trade. And at the end of the day, you return your props and you paid him his commission for being allowed to work for him. Then in the 1900s, the term beggar kind of got upgraded somewhat to bums. And bums were vagrants and mostly just out of work. And nowadays, they're known as panhandlers. And some real, some fake, same as always. So this poem samples some of the contemporary styles. It's called Panhandlers Litany. Give all the bums a buck to ensure the worthy 1% will collect enough to journey through the night. Met this guy in a yin-yang shirt proclaiming the amount of evil in this world is equal to the amount of good. That's all the equality there is in this world. And I said, as I slipped this soothsayer a buck. A smiling mime with a cardboard sign that read, "Dare to live without a mirror." Got an "I don't think so" with his dollar. A raggedy woman with a sad-eyed doggy tucked under her arm accepted her buck with flair. A brazen teen demanding bus fare, when asked where she's going, smugly declared, "Astray." I dropped a buck into her eager palm. A cool dude in a beret goes, "Spare some dough, bro?" Well, that worked. He got himself a buck. An ardent gent in a vintage suit, walking along with me, spilling politics, got a buck to go away. A charming old lady in a floral bonnet winked as she slipped my buck into her velvet purse. A big man sitting on the sidewalk with a big cup, which he jingled towards me as I approached, received a donation that made no sound in his cup. A man with a cane holding up his buck exclaimed, "This will buy food for my kitty." So I gave him another and implored him not to divulge its use. While stopped for a traffic light, I saw a peculiar cardboard sign that asked, "Save the planet? What for? No one enjoys living here anymore." Still, my buck was snatched from my door. An indignant fellow hollering over and over, "Why is there a stop sign on every corner? Not just the perilous, but every corner." To my blank stare bemoaned, "Mr. Hyde would know," as his trembling hand pocketed my dollar. And a calm voice from beneath a fedora surmised, "At least we got it right in the 50s, Jack." I mused as I paid him his due. Yes, give all the bums a buck to ensure the worthy 1% will collect enough to journey through the night.
Beautiful.
Oh, Johnny, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Johnny.
so much for being here and for bringing your really wonderful stuff to the show here tonight. I hope you'll stop by whenever you want on a Thursday night. One more time for Johnny Flaherty, please.
Hey, Johnny.
So we're gonna do our little lightning round, but before, you reminded me of a story that Utah Phillips used to tell when he would do his concerts, and he would talk about not giving money to people unless they were creative. That was his thing. He wanted a show, and so he talked about the great grifters of all time. And this was one of the stories that he told. A grifter would wait outside of a supermarket, and he would have a long balloon, and he'd look for a mother and a kid coming, and he as they were walking toward him, he'd make a dog out of the balloon. And when they got close, he'd take a knife out of his pocket and say, "Give me $1 or the dog gets it."
That's awesome. That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, Phillips.
I didn't pick up my puppy.
All right, so we're going to go around one more time, sort of the lightning round. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I think at the end of this round, I'm going to ask my friend Alan to tell us a story. Alan lives in Kansas, and with the last show that I did was in Kansas right around this time of the year. I think it was the 15th or right near St. Patrick's Day. And so I'm thinking a lot about him and my friend from Nebraska and all. And so we'll get him to sort of wrap this up at the end of the round. So Esther, what do you got for us? You're up, girl.
I'm gonna do Carlos.
Oh, good. Do you want to talk briefly about the work that you did where you met
Yeah. So I'm
Oh, sure.
a therapist. And my training is in expressive art therapy, which is something that not everyone knows about. And I think the short story is that expressive arts therapists usually end up working with people with disabilities or little kids or elders. So for a while I was working at a brain injury program, and this song is, I'll say, loosely based on a favorite client. And it's kind of a story of redemption. Carlos left Puerto Rico when he was 17. Left the farm, left his friends, left his family,
his mama cried when he boarded the plane, off to find his better life. Carlos worked the night shift, spent his days in the boxing ring. Ali was his hero, butterfly with a bee sting, full of bravado and big dreams about his better life. Between his shifts he strapped on the gloves, drank with the boys and prayed to God above. Sent money home to his family. These are the stories that Carlos tells me. Carlos loved his whiskey, and Carlos knew how to fight. But Carlos had a temper, and he should have walked away on a fateful night. The jury found Carlos guilty, 30 years to life. At 18, he walked into jail. Dreams all derailed and no chance for bail. The years crept past, no family. These are the stories that Carlos tells me. Now Carlos is in a wheelchair, compassionate release. He prays for forgiveness, redemption, and some peace. He's 63, confessing to me how he pinned all his hopes on the ring. How Carlos cried the day that Ali died. There goes his bird on a wing, bird on a wing. So it's Tito Puente and therapy dogs, wheelchairs, walkers, and medication logs, church on Sundays and weekly therapy. These are the stories that Carlos tells me. Carlos left Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow. Woo! Thank you, Esther.
Yay, Esther.
Beautiful, Esther.
That was
Jen, this is wonderful. Thank you for having me. You know I adore you.
Back at you, Esther. You're just one of my dear friends, and I'm so glad that we got to spend this time together. One more time for Esther Friedman, please.
Yes.
Hey, Esther, that was so beautiful.
Yay.
You have such a beautiful heart, Esther. Thank
Great
you
to
so
meet
much
you,
for
too.
sharing. Thank you, Esther.
All right, Shanna, take us halfway home.
Okay. Well, Sarah suggested, "Do you want to go out with me?" And I feel
course.
like I have asked the internet to go out with me show after show after show, and it just hasn't been fruitful. So I'm gonna go with Alan's request, which shows you what I'm looking for, I guess. Oh, baby. Last night was so good. You were amazing. I can still picture it all right now. The way you brought in the groceries, the way you took out the trash, the way you remembered to feed the cat. Then you unloaded the dishwasher. And when I got home from work, you had dinner on the table. I wanted you for dessert. Oh, I don't need a man with a face like bread, Zac Efron's hair, or Channing Tatum's abs, sporting a Rolex and a Cadillac. I like it if you look like you would be a good dad. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. So hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. I like your dad bod. And oh, I can feel it. It's so hard and so smooth. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You finally sanded the table in the living room. Then I got hot and bothered when you answered my text right away. Then I got really tired. And you said those magic words. Okay, not today. Oh, I don't need a man with a face like bread, George Clooney's hair, or Channing Tatum's abs, sporting a Rolex and a Cadillac. I like it if you look like you will be a good dad. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. Wait, you guys, I have to tell you. In my Facebook memories today, there was this post I made from 3 years ago where I was able to push my stomach out in enough of a pregnant belly fashion that I pretty much broke the internet with people thinking I had a bun in the oven. And so at the top of the caption it said, "I'm so excited, boy or girl, what do you think?" And then I made people scroll all the way to the very bottom of the post to see sonogram results, food baby. And I got so many calls from my family and people that were like, "Congratulations," because of course no one reads to the bottom of a post. And so I shared that picture on my Facebook page today, and someone posted at the bottom, "I know a few guys that could fool the internet too." And it kind of fits the theme of this dad bod song perfectly. And I love how I don't have to babysit you at parties. 'Cause ladies, we all know, that's the worst. They say nice guys finish last, and they're right. You always let me come first. Woo! I don't need a man with a face like that, Zac Efron's hair, or Channing Tatum's abs, sporting a Rolex and a Cadillac, because I like it if you look like you would be a good dad. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot.
That's hot, so hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. I like your dad bod.
Oh, Shanna! Great one.
Hey.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Anna in a dress, bicycle into a town near you this summer.
Singing about dad bods every pedal of the way.
Middle America goes for Shanna. Listen, I don't know how to tell you how much I like you more than I already have. I just think you're great. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and look forward to keep stopping by here. And anytime you get something that you want to promote, that's the same with everybody that's here. If you want to. Anytime you have something that you want to promote, there's quite a few people watch this, on the other platforms especially. So just stop by anytime, Shanna. You're always welcome. One more time for Shanna in a dress, please.
Yo, Shanna!
Thank you.
Awesome. Great to see you.
And
All
quick
right.
thing, but that song, That's Hot, is on my live album, which I give away for free to anyone who wants one over at shannainaddress.com. So
Free CDs. Wow. All right. So speaking of CDs, I'm going to introduce. We're going to wind this thing down here now, and so I'm going to ask my friend to tell a story, and then I'll do a song to end. So we'll be done here in 10 minutes probably or so. I just want to give you a little timeline. But I want to introduce this guy because I met him in Kearney, Nebraska when I was playing the storytelling festival there, and he just turned out to be one of the nicest people I've ever met. He is so supportive to everybody. He bought, his CD collection, he must need a whole house for it because there's nobody whose CD he doesn't have. If he likes it, he will go and buy it. He also advocates for storytellers and musicians. He gets them gigs. He's just a lovely man, and just the kind of person I'm so glad that the storytelling world has brought into my life. And he comes always here on Thursday, and I really want to showcase him at least for one story. So please welcome from the most rectangular of all the rectangle states, Kansas, Mr. Alan DeBay.
Hey, Alan. Good to see you, my friend.
Have you ever dreamed of better shipping methods? Methods that could deliver packages to your house in hours or minutes rather than days. I have spent months, years trying to figure out this system, and I think I may have done it. A system where you can have refrigerated and heated tunnels coming up into your house and deliver you food from all the way across the country for supper in hours or minutes rather than not even being able to get it because it's thousands or hundreds of miles away. After years of planning, I decided that I was finally going to try to build some kind of system to try it all out and see if it worked by high pressure underground air, like a vacuum. And so I got a whole bunch of great big 3-foot pipe, and I buried it from my house to my parents' house, which is 12 miles away. And it took me about 6 months to do so. And once I had it all done, I was ready to ship something. And what's better than shipping myself? Oh yes, it was going to be a fun ride. I even built this capsule for me to ride in because you can't breathe inside of a vacuum. And so one day I got inside of that vacuum, inside of that tunnel, and then I hit the switch on the vacuum. And I accelerated 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 miles per hour when I hit the first turn. I literally hit the first turn, breaking the capsule. So now I could no longer breathe, and I passed out inside of the tunnel. The pressure, because I also got stuck, built up, and it shot me out, I think, because I don't know exactly what happened, but I was supposed to arrive at my parents' house at 2:30 while they were away at work. Well, I didn't arrive until 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I still wish I knew what happened to that lapse time. But since I wasn't awake, I couldn't turn off the vacuum, and I shot up into their basement, into the house, into the ceiling, into the roof, and up, up, up and away, and then down, 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 where I crashed right into my mother's prized rose bush. The rose bush that she had played classical music to every single day. The rose bush that had won her state fair grand champion 5 years in a row. I mean, this was quite a rose bush. Well, when I finally came to from this event, I looked up and there's my mother and father, my father bat in hand, my mother saying, swing away, swing away. I yelled, stop, it's your son, Alan. But he didn't see me and hear it in time, and he swung away. I was able to roll to the side just in time for him to annihilate what was left of my mother's prized rose bush. My father and I knew that we were in big trouble now, and we started running, and then all of a sudden we jumped onto the roof. But we didn't land on the roof. No, we went into that hole that I had just created and landed right inside of that capsule that I had created. We came to and looked up, and there was my mother saying, I'll get you next time, my pretties, as she was on the roof. My father, without thinking, said, did she jump or did she fly? Knowing that he had spoken correctly, I hit the button to reverse the switch, and it sent me right back to my house. And I ended up replacing the roof and fixing the house and replacing my mother's prized rose bush. But after that, it was only able to win reserve grand champion in the fair. Thank you.
Alan.
All right, Alan. Awesome, my friend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, Alan, are you going to have Shanna, and when she comes through Kansas, you're going to play in Downs, Kansas, or what?
I'm not sure yet.
So, listen, Alan is just a lovely man and a good storyteller and a good friend to everybody. So, let's hear one more time for him for all that he does in this world. All right. So,
Yeah.
this is next week. I'm going to be doing a show to benefit the Bull Run restaurant. It's going to be the first of event that they've done. So that's next. I normally would be doing my birthday show there every year, but so what I want to do now is play a song to wrap it up. But I want to ask Tim if he could put that picture of me back up on the screen. It says Dawn White circa 1892. I know I'm old, but I think it's 1992 would be my guess on that.
Or 1982. Yeah.
No, it would have been probably 92. So so Brandon, can you spotlight that photograph there? There you go. So that is let's see. There it is, right there. She's going back in the crowd. Go sit down at the table. That's the Oviana Coffee House, and that's a washed-out picture of me right there. Let's see, do I know anyone in the crowd? Usually in those days, I knew everyone in the crowd. The Oviana Coffee House, let's look at it for a minute. It was the second floor of a German restaurant. It held, I think, 100 seats if you really crammed them all in there. And it was the place where I built my career, started my career. Tim Mason, who is in New Mexico now and running something called the 830 Club online that you should all look at. He ran this venue, and he brought me from being an open mic, feature to filling the room up in a year, I think, by allowing me to open for people. It's hard to find people like that in this world that will give you opportunities like that to perform and to build your audience off of other people's audiences. So there's a shot right there. I think that was a long time ago. So Brandon, I'm gonna play this song. How about we pin side by side with this? We'll be like Don White at the beginning of his career and Don White at the end of his career. thank you everyone for coming, and thanks for taking care of each other and for supporting the arts. We're here every Thursday. Stop by. I'll do my best to put a smile on your face and to take some of the pressure of this weird life off of you. You were taught by your world that empathy and kindness were the kind of things that made a person weak. They said push and grab and fight every minute of your life and trample those between you and what you believe you need. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. Singing cruelty is always weak, but love and empathy are strong enough to break the chains of selfishness and greed. Gentle is the strongest thing to be. You know it is not your fault that heroin and alcohol made them both too ill to give their children what they really need. But it sure would have been nice to be encouraged once or twice, to feel safe at night, or to have a life with just a little normalcy. Well, from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. When you feel hatred in your heart, you just remember who you are, and that underneath the weight of hate, your heart cannot be free. Forgiving is the stronger thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, not your hypnotizing smile. It's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew what they told you wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. That's what makes you beautiful to me. You know, a young man's eyes see beauty in what is on the surface, not within. He will walk past what is beautiful to be near the thing that shines. But these old man's eyes find beauty in the story and the journey. They have seen too much to be fooled by what attracts a young man's eyes. From the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. And there was nothing that this world could do to crush the love inside of you. Under neglect, abuse, and selfishness, you were caring, kind, and generous. It is the lonely road that brought you here. It's how all alone you persevere. It's the defiance and tenacity of your heart song of humanity. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful to me. Thank you for another lovely.
No, that was awesome.
Thank
Don.
We love you.
Thanks for keeping Thursday so awesome, Don, and everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all so much. This is, I'm so grateful to you all for allowing me to feel connected in the world and to buy groceries. Two noble endeavors. Allowing me to feel connected and allowing me to buy groceries. You people are like holy people. You're like saints to me.
Right back at you, my friend. I love you.
you're welcome to chat a little bit or whatever. We won't just shut the stream off. If anybody has anything they want to say or whatever, you're welcome to do it. And we can just sort of disappear from here one at a time. Shanna, thank you so much. Esther,
Thank you.
Poet Johnny Flaherty, thank you so much. And Alan D. Bay. And Mark Stepikoff, too. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, sounds awesome. I love you.
And Esther.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Did I say it?
Sarah.
I said it.
Bye, Sarah.
And thanks,
Bye, everyone.
Brandon. Thanks, Brandon. You did a great job as always.
Yes.
Well done.
Say bye, Facebook and YouTube, everybody.